everybody. Welcome back to Creative Visions TV for another episode with me, Karen A. Dahlman. Hey, you guys, I had Michael Terzi on. You saw the show. Well, he's back for part 2. Well, in fact, we recorded the same day because he had so much to say. And the conversation flew. The conversation went so well. You know what I'm trying to say. Maybe it flew like angels fly. But anyway, I'd like to welcome back Michael Terzi to the show. Welcome, Michael. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me here again. I'm truly honored to be able to continue to talk about all of this stuff. I have such a passion about all of this that sometimes I just forget the time. And I know that when I have so much trying to get it all crammed into a certain amount of time, there's so much more to say. And so I really appreciate you letting me come back on again to be able to talk a little bit more about these amazing experiences that I've had and how people can get in touch with their angels more.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, because it really awakens people to the possibilities that are out there. And I think that's why it's so important for you to continue this dialogue with me and share the part 2. You guys, you ready? Part 2's coming. So here we go. Let's pick up where we took off. Is that right? Let's pick back up where we left off. Something like that, right? Let's pick up where we left off. There we go.
Sounds good.
Okay.
And I told my wife all about it. She's like, my gosh, you see your angel.
Aww.
You see your angel.
Uh-huh.
And things just kind of blew up. I saw my wife's angel. I saw my parents. I saw my friends. Then I saw that it's not just one, that we actually have a team behind all of this. I always say before my readings, I haven't seen less than 3 or more than 5 of teams that consist of guardian angels and spirit guides. Guardian angels are, of course, angelic souls, and then spirit guides are human souls that come to us, whether it may have been from a past life, whether it may have been from this current life that we're in now. They've passed on, and instead of coming back and having another life, which we do, I try to tell people there are multiple lives. If people believe it or not, I still tell them, I know because I've seen it, because I talk to the angels, so you got to believe me. Whether it be from either of those, they come and they decide, you know what, I want to be a part of the team instead of trying to have my own life. I want to learn and grow by helping this person learn and grow because maybe they helped me or they touched me in a certain way during my life. And they helped me to get to where I wanted to. Now I want to pay it forward, or I want to benefit from this whole experience as well. So I see both of these things during readings. And I started seeing I have another guardian and then another guardian. And then I saw my wife has a huge team. And that's when I realized this is something huge. Mm-hmm. I know that there are other angel mediums out there. I haven't really spoken to any because there aren't any around me too much. But a lot of them, when you read about some of the things that they've done, or when you read about some of the things that they've gotten, that they talk about the messages they've received from angels. Mm-hmm. Maybe they say they've gotten something from Raziel. Maybe they say they've gotten something from Michael himself. Maybe they say they've gotten something from Gabriel. But they don't talk or do guardian angel readings. They don't actually try to use a gift as an angel medium. And maybe that's not part of their gift. Maybe they're just meant to receive messages from other angels like prophets may have in the days of old, you know. But it's something that I knew I had to do because I could hear them now. It wasn't like the first human spirit. As I awoke to everything I was supposed to do, I could hear my angel, like he's talking to me. It's not perfect. I miss little words here and there, and sometimes they show me images in my head of words or of places or things that are important. But mostly I get pretty clear messages. And so I decided, let me try to do a reading. And so I did a reading on my wife. I did a reading on a couple of friends. I did a reading on my parents, which was pretty crazy because I never knew that they were into any of this or would accept it.
Right. You know, after all, when you were 9 and then you had that experience, they thought, you know, we better bring a priest over here quickly.
Yeah. And I don't blame them because
I don't either.
Because people don't know. Mm-hmm. People don't know that there's other ways to handle it. One of the things that I was surprised about was that even though I know my parents have always been very supportive of me, no matter what I've done, they were still like, okay, let's see it. Let's hear it, you know? And I gave them readings and they were, wow, okay. And then I found out that from my father that my grandmother, who I never knew, passed away when I was 2. His mother had little things that she would get. She was pretty intuitive. And then, yeah, and my mom had some experiences when she was younger, seeing some certain spirits, although it never really turned into anything for her. She did have experiences, and so they both believe in the paranormal. They know what's out there. Even, my father, especially being an Italian Catholic, growing up in Brooklyn, New York.
Oh yeah.
I was surprised that he had that much openness about it. He's always been a supportive guy, but he's, not exactly, shares as many feelings as some people might. He's always been a very strong figure, never really showing a lot of emotion, but he has been an inspiration in a lot of ways. And when he said that to me, it made me feel, so people will accept this.
Wow.
Because as some of your viewers might worry or have experienced about, sometimes you get ridiculed for things like this. Not a lot of people believe, religion sometimes is a huge and great support for people, but the way certain people are taught through religion sometimes that these gifts aren't supposed to happen, like in Catholicism, they don't talk a lot about these possibilities. And so some people even have been taught that these things are bad.
Right.
That supposedly that being a medium is bad. Mm-hmm. So I was shocked that when my dad was so open to it and my mother was so open to it. I actually come from a Catholic and Jewish background. My father was Catholic, my mom was Jewish. Pretty common to see both of them in New York City. And so they actually got together, and it was interesting to grow up with both of those. I always joke, I know someone else has probably said this, but I say I'm a cashew.
I've heard it.
Jewish, yeah.
But that's cute. So
yeah.
I gotta tell you what, that's really open-minded to bring those two different religions, what we would call disparaging, you have very different religions together.
Yes.
And it's beautiful. So there's an openness already just from that, the fact that they can, the Old Testament with the New Testament and bring them both together,
Yeah, I mean, they told me at a young age, me and my sister both, that we'll celebrate both of these holidays until both of you are over 12 or 13. She's a few years behind me, obviously, my little sister. But and then at that point, you guys decide which religion do you want to go down, and we'll be supportive no matter what.
Oh, wow.
And at the time, we both went with Christianity, and now I consider myself still a Christian because I believe in these things,
right?
And I believe in God and the angels and everything, and I believe in Jesus and what actually happened there. I have my own take on things like that now that I've talked to the angels about things, but that might be a totally whole different show or podcast itself. But I am very I was very open-minded to it all, and I consider myself I believe in God. I believe in the things that some of the things that the Bible might teach. I just feel as though it's something that was meant to be a foundation for us. We can't turn to these things every single time we have a problem. It's there to help us and to inspire us, do unto others, be good to people, those things. They're amazing.
Sure.
Exactly. It's amazing things and rules and ideas for us to live by. But we have to be able to think for ourselves in a lot of different ways. And so I don't want to go too far into religion because it can be kind of controversial, but
this is good that
you're both ways.
It's good because you have this unique background. And I wonder, Michael, if it was because you were so open that you were able maybe to even accept this. I mean, because again, in your own life, you got the blend and marriage of the science and now the supernatural together. The medicine and medicine and miracles blended together in this beautiful thing of the angel messages. And by the way, he's also known as the angel whisperer because he hears them and talks them and all this and sees them, you guys. So how did you come to terms now with bringing that together, the medicine with this whole idea of speaking to the angels and also do your colleagues, your doctor colleagues know what you do?
Those are all very good questions. So first of all, it wasn't actually too difficult for me. I thought it would be for me to be able to have, like you said, the marriage of science and spirituality. Because from early on when I started talking to my angels, before I even started doing readings, I would talk with them. I would try to practice and get better at hearing their messages. And one of the things that I realized is that if both sides actually listened to each other a little bit more, we would be able to understand a lot more about the universe than we do now. You know, people talk all the time about dark matter. What is dark matter? What is dark energy?
Junk
what is
DNA.
That? Yeah. Well, what is that really? Well, what do you think it is? It's something that's invisible that actually holds the entire universe together. That sounds a lot like God to me. That sounds a lot like spirituality, the energy all around us that we can't see and feel. There's a lot of that around us. And so, but they don't see that because they need that physical proof, which I admit, I understand. You know, coming from a science background, you want to go through the scientific method. You want to be able to find that physical evidence in order to make it fact. But sometimes you need to suspend disbelief in order to bring about change, I think. And different aspects of science can benefit from spirituality. And I think if spiritual people who are way too much into the spiritual look at science as well, there are different ways that you can incorporate it. I'm all about, because my angels have told me, one of the big things is have balance. You can't be too, what some friends have called airy-fairy, where you're too much in the clouds, you're too much into spirituality, you're not living life here.
Right.
And then you also can't be too much into the business world or into science, because then you're limiting yourself as to the things that are around you. You're not paying attention to the world that's actually changing around you. And so you got to have that balance, have the spirituality, have the science and the logic and things like that. But don't ignore either of those messages. Try to combine them in your life. And so I've looked at things. I mean, there are people that use certain crystals that in electronics, you know, cell phones, LCD screens, you know, all these things, there's crystals, and yet people in spirituality use crystals. You know, there's Reiki. You know, I am also a Reiki master now. I took Reiki from some people and I became a master and developed my own type of like angel Reiki, I call it. My wife came up with the name because I didn't know what to call it. And she's like, just call it angel Reiki. That's simple enough, easy enough. And I'm like, yeah. And it's Reiki, but then with how the angels help with energy healing as well. So it's a little different. But I've seen it work. People use Reiki healers now in hospitals and hospice centers too.
That's right.
Because it helps with pain relief. It helps with calming people down. It helps with self-healing in a lot of ways too. And so in that essence, now you're taking spiritual energy healing and you're putting it to a science background. You're putting it into medicine now. There was even some Reiki healers that I know that were working with a doctor in her doctor's office. In her actual office, she had another room and said, you know what, you may benefit from some Reiki after she was done seeing somebody. And they would come in and talk with them and make an appointment. You know, there has to be that marriage, I think, in order for us to have balance just as a society, honestly.
I so concur with you. It's nice to see this blend. I remember when I was a practicing therapist, when I went into private practice, this is back in the early 90s, or the 90s, the decade of the 90s, basically, that we had a place, it was in Austin, it was called the Austin Healing Center. And what we did was we had traditional therapy and then traditional body work. And then we had, you know, like a chiropractor, but we started bringing a marriage of then these other kind of like holotropic breath work and cranial sacral therapy and then massage therapy and Reiki. And we just started bringing all these practices together. And it was unique for that day and age. It was unique that we were doing this. And I was having, you know, clients come in that were, you know, from a traditional hospital, or I was working with a psychiatrist too, and doing this work. So it was really cool. So I'm so happy to hear that you're seeing that even more so now too, with the Reiki in these doctors' offices. So this goes back to the question: do your colleagues know what you do?
I was hoping you'd forget about that question.
No, I'm not going to forget about that question.
No, they're so it's hard to.
You guys don't tell anybody, okay? Don't tell anybody.
Don't say anybody. Don't say anything if you know them.
Look, he's on YouTube International. This is okay.
Cat's out of the bag now.
Well, look, you guys, you're going to learn more about him, and also from his website when we get to that part. But he's doing his readings. He's out there doing it, so they can't. People nowadays Google everybody. You'd like even some of your clients, your customers probably know, your patients know that you do this.
There's been some. You know, we had there was a time when I did a show in front of people, you know, like we do like little shows like readings and things like that sometimes. And there was somebody there from an office that I had worked at before. And so she says, "Oh, hi, Dr. Mike. And I'm like, hey, so yeah, I do this. She's like, oh, well, it's great, And I was like, oh, well, thank you, and then so yeah, you meet people, you see people outside of the office. There has been a few people. I'm not sure if every doctor that I work with, because I've worked in a few offices, but I'm not sure if every doctor knows, but yeah, some have an idea.
And
Um,
they're accepting it, right? There's because what I found when I came out in the public, and that was in 2012, with my work with the spirit communication and the Ouija board, and I have a presence here with my business in LA, and I was worried about that would somehow damage me. But I think
yeah,
my work ethics and my business acumen and what I do provide for my clients, that's okay. What I do in my own time.
yeah,
Have you found that out too? I mean, you're showing up and doing
yeah.
your work.
Mostly, it's been fine.
Okay.
There are some people that I work with that, again, they may have been taught that this kind of thing is not accepted,
Right.
so they don't treat me as a leper or anything. But you can tell it's a little different.
Hmm.
The relationship that I have with them, they still respect me for who I am and know that I tell them I'm still the same person that you knew. I mean, I haven't changed. I've just become more of who I am now, and I have a different outlook on things. I've accepted me when before
Wow.
I wasn't, and they understand that to a point. So we get along. Not, some of them don't know, and it's not really talked about in the office too much.
Yeah, you probably aren't talking about angels when you're looking at eyes.
Yeah, I mean, I try not to. Sometimes someone does recognize me every now and then, so
Hmm.
then I will speak with them privately in the room or something like that, but it's not really talked about out in the open where all the glasses are and everything, like in the waiting room area. I
Well,
try to
and
keep
I
it
think that's
separate.
important for people to understand. A lot of these people here that come here and watch this, and you guys are tuning in and right now and listening to this, you have your own abilities and gifts, and there's a time and place for everything. And sometimes you
Yeah.
have to switch hats, and I think it's okay. I don't, walk into a board meeting with some of my big clients and go, "Hey, let's do the Ouija board," or "This is what I do." It's just be stupid. It would just be dumb.
Yeah.
And people don't care that I golf, or people don't care that I have a cat, or
Hmm.
So that's there's a time and place
Yeah.
for it. So sometimes you'll
Hmm.
find, and this is Michael, family members don't want to accept this stuff. So it's great you had that support. Not everybody out there
Yeah.
is as lucky, and they can be marginalized or shunned in their homes. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. My
I'm
sister has been supportive.
okay.
Her
Good.
husband even
Hmm.
has been supportive. He even told me that the reason why he loves the movie Ghostbusters so much, that's like his favorite movie, is because he is interested in the paranormal and the spiritual. We even went to a Halloween party and we couldn't stay for it, but he really wanted me to do this they have some sort of board game out now where I guess if you have some degree of intuition or
Oh,
something that you'd
okay.
be able to do this board game very well or something. And he had it for the Halloween party because of supernatural and stuff. And he was, granted, he may have had a couple of drinks, but he was kind of walking around like, "Hey, it's my brother-in-law. He's a medium. Yeah, yeah, he's a doctor and a
Oh,
medium. He'll be good at this." But we had to leave, unfortunately. But yeah, it was. I'm thrilled that they are so accepting, and
that's
not
great.
everyone that I meet is as accepting. But you know, you you just deal with it as it comes. You can't change what people think.
Mm-mm.
Whenever I do a reading, and I tell them I'm just going to be delivering messages from your angel. I'm not expecting to change your mind about anything. I'm not expecting you to even maybe believe everything that I tell you. If it doesn't resonate with you, that's okay. The one thing that I want you to at least get out of this is that you know that your angel is there and that they love you unconditionally. They're a part of you, always around you. You're never truly alone. And that they always want to help as much as they can, help guide you through all the mess that you're in this world.
Very well
And
said.
yeah, and if that's the only thing you get out of this reading, then I've at least done my job. So that's what I'm very big on not trying to make people think
Right.
the way I think, because I respect all religions, even when I was a Catholic.
Hmm.
I mean, whether it be Islam, whether it be Judaism, whether it be Hinduism, Buddhism. A long time ago, I read a book. I can't remember what his name was at the time, but it was from the current Buddha. It was about, it says, Jesus Christ, my Buddhist brother.
Ah,
And it
very
was talking
nice.
about all the similarities between Buddhism And the first Buddha, I'm not going to say his name because I'll butcher it probably. Siddhartha Gautama or something, I think was his name.
Right.
Yeah. But it was similarities between him and the teachings of Jesus Christ. And ever since then, I realized, you know what? If we can all just look at our similarities instead of our differences, then maybe religious tolerance would become a lot more prolific than it is now.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that seems very naive, but I truly, it helped in me to be able to understand more about people's religions and to accept that, we're a lot more similar than you realize.
Yeah, I think so too.
And the angels, when mankind was created, there weren't all these religions. All these different religions popped up from cultural differences, from geographical differences, from the way certain people see the world and see how they should live it. And if you look at it, there are so many teachings that are similar, even in something like Hinduism compared to Catholicism. When you look at Islam compared to Judaism, there are even a lot of the same characters that you see in the different texts. They may play different roles, but they're there.
There's similar stories. There's always this virgin birth. The Egyptians had it, so the Christians have it. All the old cultures that predate Christianity and some of these religions that go way back. There's a similar story. So it's really, I think it's great to explore different religions. And read about them. At least read about them if you don't go to different churches or synagogues or temples. But which I used to do. Did that for my fun in the 20s, when I was 20s, like the Roaring 20s. When I was in my 20s, I would go to different churches on purpose and temples and synagogues and walk in, or knew somebody could get me in if it was like a temple or even Mormonism. I just went to them all because I wanted to understand, what are they talking about? And feel and experience. And I got to tell you, every time I went somewhere different and new, I was always welcomed. It was like, well, who's this person in the back? I went by myself, you guys. I just thought it'd be good for me to understand a little bit more as I was learning more of this stuff myself from my spirit friends. So I think that's great that you too, Michael, you have that double background in religion. You're thinking about how the stories are there. And you're hearing it from your angels about the commonalities.
It is. And they always promote just, knowledge. They promote, just learning more about all these things. Be true to what you believe in, but make sure that that is your belief and not someone else's that has tried to imprint it upon you. They're very big on you thinking for yourself. That's why when I do readings, I tell people they're going to give me advice for you. They're really big on guidance and empowerment. Angel readings are really empowering, all about guidance and trying to help us prepare for future events or giving us ideas on how we can help ourselves. They want you to take that information and do with it what you think is right. They can't tell you exactly what's going to happen, and they can't make you behave a certain way. They're just going to tell you this is going to help, at least consider it, because that's their role, is to guide.
Yes.
They're not there to make us do something. That's why not everyone, I think that's probably why not everyone can see their angels, is because faith plays a part in it. If everyone saw their guardian angel, you'd pretty much do what they said, because there's a huge 9 to 12 foot angel standing there with you telling you do this.
Exactly,
how much
guys.
Of that? Yeah, exactly. How much are we going to learn? How much are we going to grow from someone just telling us what to do?
And then we're going to start worshiping them as the new gods. This is why the extraterrestrials don't want to come here either, because we're going to say, oh my God, they're so more advanced than us, or they look so different, and maybe they're 13 feet, 15 feet tall, that, we're going to go, oh, let me, they don't, these other beings, the angels, the ethereal beings, the guides I speak with, they do not want us to bow down ourselves. They want us to instead embrace your own empowerment, as Michael's talking about. This is really important. So Michael, I've got to ask you, I get written to a lot of questions about the angels, and people want to always, like you just mentioned, see their angel, know their angel's name. What are signs that your angel's trying to connect with you, and how to even start connecting with your angels? What can you share with the audience here that will help along those lines?
Perfect. Yeah. First of all, I would love it if everybody saw their angels.
I would too.
Some people can. I know that for a fact. For example, I knew when I was doing your reading that she had told me that you have a pretty good relationship. And I was like, wow, I was shocked. It's been years, she said. And I was like, wow, okay, cool. So then this is going to go very well. The stronger the connection that person has with their angel already, the stronger the reading is sometimes with me. Because they're connected to us through energy. So if you're strong, you're empowered, they're there, they're shining brighter, and I can hear them better, I can see them better. It's pretty amazing. But how can we hear them? How can we see them? How can we feel them? Mm-hmm. That's one of the big things that I get asked as well all the time. And one of the things that I always turn to is that anybody can get their messages from their guardians. Can they get them as clearly as if from a medium? Maybe not as perfectly, but there's a way that our angels all communicate with us. All angels communicate with us through that gut feeling that people call intuition. There's different types of intuition, which I'm developing a little bit of a class on that right now as well. But there's different types of intuition. One of them is spiritual intuition. And spiritual intuition is literally from your angel. Whenever you get that gut feeling, don't go down that alleyway, don't turn that corner, go talk to that person. They'll be a great friend. Take that job. You feel that pull. It's almost as if you can't resist it. I have to say this. I have to do this. You feel that. That's your angel sending you those red and green flags. Hey, try this out. Hey, don't do that. But they only send you those messages because they can't literally stop you from doing it. So it's about listening to those messages and just taking a moment to think, feel it. Let yourself be like, okay, what is this right now? Am I feeling someone talking to me, someone sending me something, or is it just indigestion? But I joke,
Right.
but yeah, I kidding around. But sometimes people they don't know, because the heart of the soul is not literally the heart. I call it, the angels told me they call it the heart of the soul. They call it the mind of the soul and the heart of the soul. The mind is white when we come into this body. The heart still remembers, and that's where we're connected. And it's around the gut area. That's why we feel that. Okay. And so all angels do that, try to communicate with us through intuition, through spiritual intuition. And at that point, the only way to develop that is to really know that your angel is there, to talk to them, to feel them, to listen to their messages and try to go along with what they had said. That's the only way to really develop that kind of spiritual intuition for the most part. But then there's also different ways that our angels communicate with us individually. Individually, I mean by every angel is a little different, because we're all a little different. They have their own personalities. They have their own aura. They have their own look. They're all very different. They even have all their own names. I haven't seen an angel that has had the same name as another angel yet. So a lot of the ways they communicate are either through visual, auditory, or tactile cues. So, for example, a visual one, sometimes you'll be driving down the road and you see a license plate frame, or you see a billboard, or you'll be watching a movie and there's this message that comes to you all of a sudden that never really hit you that hard before. There are a lot of different cues in all those areas. Auditory, a song will pop on the radio all of a sudden. You'll be talking to your friend and they'll say something and they'll be like, why did I say it that way? Like, what is that? That's the angels trying to send messages through that auditory cue. Tactile, obviously they'll be touching you on the shoulder. You'll feel a flip in your hair. My angel kind of smacks me over the head sometimes. He's a little more aggressive. But
isn't that because you can take it? Isn't that why? Yeah.
They don't want to scare you, so they'll probably just be like a wind or something will come over you, or you'll feel that warmth or a tingling or something. There are different ways that they can communicate with us, and it's just a matter of us paying attention. Sometimes we're so into what we're doing, what we're feeling, what the emotions we're going through, we're working, we have all these relationships we're trying to cultivate, whether they be friends or romantic relationships, that we don't really listen to and pay attention to the relationship that we have with the beings that are all around us, always. And our angels want us to cultivate that. I always tell them that one of the reasons why I do readings is to strengthen that bond that you have between you and your guardian angel. Some people already have a strong relationship like you and yours, but even if it helps even just make it a little bit stronger, people can benefit drastically from it. Because then, I always tell people, you share an aura with your main guardian angel, the main one being the one that's always around, because like I said, there's a team.
Yeah.
The main guardian is always with you throughout all your lifetimes. Imagine having this kind of friend that's with you all the time, through all the lifetimes. You have an aura that you share with them. They resonate at a very high frequency, granted, because that's why we can't see them very well. The energy that they have resonates very high. It's a very high positive light. And we're resonating at a certain wavelength right now where we're a little bit lower because we're in a human body.
We're dense, yeah. But, we're in dense.
Yeah. But you share an aura. You know, I have a particular aura color and resonance that I share with my main guardian, as do you, as does my wife and anybody else. That's a strong bond that transcends lifetimes. As long as I can make that bond just a little stronger, then it makes you stronger, because now you know that they're there. It's a part of you, and your main angel is a part of who you are. They want to be. They've always been. That's their main goal, is to become closer to you and to help you learn the lessons you need to learn in life. And if you know that they're there and you can feel their energy and you can feel their love, you become a better version of you and a stronger version of you. And you can accomplish the things that you want to accomplish.
I agree, because when you open up to these unseen dimensions with these loving, unconditional loving beings that are there, and you guys are there, and they're there to work with you, as Michael's telling you, you strengthen your own internal abilities. You enhance yourself, because now you're using more aspects of yourself that you have not been told that you have than you can use. Now, Michael, people write to me and say, I don't even know where to start. I want to believe I have an angel, but so for them, belief is something that's not so strongly developed yet, but they're wanting, they're desiring. Isn't that kind of where it needs to start, with a desire?
It does. One of the things that I talk about a little bit is you have to want it. You have to want to have that connection. Then there's belief. You have to be able to believe that something else is there that you just can't explain.
Right.
You're right. Not everyone's had these experiences. Not everyone's tapped into their spiritual gifts. Not everybody can bring themselves to believe or get out of that kind of belief that we're alone and that there isn't anything else, you know, that all there is just God, that these angels or spirit guides or aren't around us, you know. So it's the want, the desire, like you said, the belief, and then comes feeling it. Don't explain it away. I tried to, and it just got worse. I just felt more. So don't try to explain it away. Don't try to ignore it. If you have this amazingly drawn feeling to something, if you feel that intuition, that gut feeling that I shouldn't do this or I should go this way, don't push it away, because that's the beginnings of what you're trying to accomplish in your spiritual quest. Let yourself feel it. Then comes the hearing. Now, whether visual comes later on to certain people or not, that's great. But not everybody has that degree of clairvoyance. Some people have the clairaudience. Some people have the clairtangency, where they feel things more so. You know, different kinds of the clairs, you know. So it's all about taking those steps. But like you said, it has to come with, if you want it bad enough, then you will get it. And that is where it starts.
You have to
Not
ask
everyone
you
is thrown
guys.
into it.
They don't interject themselves into your life, and they're around you, they're helping you, but they're not going to push themselves on you unless you say, I accept, I welcome. You have to invite, and then it's like these connections happen. Now, even though Michael is a younger person, was like, what is this? You know, things are happening. He was being priming the pump. So when they finally did come through, you know, he had the man he saw in his room, the ringing of the sound of the ear. All these things were fine tuning him to that frequency, because he had already made that contract with these beings before in other lives, this life, before he came in, and you guys do too. And so I don't want anybody out there to think they don't have these helpers around them, because you do.
Yes, 100%. They're always around, you know, no matter what. I mean, they're around way too much sometimes. When you think you're alone, you're not really alone. So just know when you're doing things. But
it's like Santa Claus. He knows when you've been bad or good.
Exactly. Perfect.
You know, we're kind of laughing about it, but it's true. When you invite them in, they will definitely be there, and you're thinking about them. Now, you guys, Michael has offered to give us kind of a general angel reading for those that are tuning into the show. So I'm going to let Michael take it away and give you some information directly from the angels.
Mm-hmm. Well, one of the things that I've been getting a lot lately, I'll start off with this, is that 2019, that was a transitional type of year. It was a time for a lot of people to transition into the different aspects of their life, whether it be different kinds of jobs that they're trying to get into, whether it be opening up to spirituality, whether it be coming into different kinds of gifts or making different decisions. It's a transitional type of year. The number 9 to the angels is a very transitional type of number. Angels aren't huge on numerology, but there are certain numbers that mean something to them. The second thing now, it's 2020. So if you go into numerology a little bit, 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 is a huge angel number.
It is.
It is, yeah. 4 is a huge angelic number, and it's about growth. It's about being able to accomplish the goals that you've been trying to prime yourself for all of these years leading up until now. Taking those chances, taking those steps to be able to now put that goal into action. The law of attraction is an amazing thing, but we can't just rely on the universe itself to do it all for us. That goes into something that I'm doing as well as far as one of my classes, is that law of attraction is great. A lot of people may have heard of it, and the law of attraction is amazing, but we have to take those steps. We have to use that intuition, use that goal, that thing that we've been desiring, and actually take physical steps towards that reality. And 2020 is a great year to be able to do that now. Is that the veil is thin even more, they say. There's a lot more energy coming through. More and more people are awakening to their gifts and seeing spirituality as something that's not so distant. They're seeing it as something that can be accepted more. You know, there was something that happened a while back where the Catholic Church silently released this little file saying, we now recognize people with charismatic gifts. They didn't make it super well known, but that was a huge step to know that now the Catholic Church is saying, don't shun the people that may have these types of gifts like some people might be doing. Accept them, because we will benefit from all of us coming together and being able to learn from each other. These people have these certain gifts, and if you have a spiritual gift, your angels want you to accept it. That's part of this growth now in this new year, is people coming into these gifts and accepting it. If you don't know what it is, look into it. I had to. I had to look into this. I had no idea what any of this stuff was, but I came into it and it resonated with me, and it was something really important. And your angels, all angels, want us to be who we really are, to find our inner strength, to find that self-worth that some of us might be lacking. And because we're lacking that is because we're not truly in tune with who we are as a person, as a soul. Make sure you look into that. I don't want to sound preachy based on what they're saying, but angels can be kind of preachy sometimes. And they try to say, you're limiting yourself by not opening up to all the possibilities of how strong and how open you can be. So that's a huge thing, is being able to be open enough to be able to progress. And as you open up spiritually, things in the physical world start to happen for you. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, I started off with just doing angel readings every now and then for people. And as I opened up for it, there was more of a demand, and I started charging for them because it was very taxing. And so I started doing classes, I started doing group readings. There are all these things that just kind of snowball into now I'm doing a YouTube show with Karen here, who's an amazing person and really was awesome to let me come on. But these things just kind of happened. And then even in my own work, I feel more connected with the physical realm when I'm more connected with my spiritual realm. And the last thing that the angels always say is, like I had mentioned earlier, they're always there. Mm-hmm. They want to help you. But they won't help if you don't ask. Mm-hmm. That's one of the big things. Now, they're not going to come down and, physically stop somebody from doing something to you, but they will throw those messages out to you, and they'll be way more clear if you realize that they're real people. Angels are there, and they will help you with anything you need help with. But if you don't ask for it, they're not allowed to intervene only so much. Mm-hmm. But if you ask for that help with a specific thing, like some people pray, They pray to God. They pray to maybe even their guardian angel, sometime, or they pray to Michael, the archangel, or Raphael.
Right.
Praying is another form of communication. And even if you don't feel comfortable enough praying to your angel or talking with your angel because you don't know them very well, you can pray to God. God is the boss, the higher power, God, whatever people want to call him or her. He's very secure in who he is. So you can call him whatever you want. He delegates down. He's the boss. So you pray to him and say, I need help, please, with this. Your angel will hear it. But if you're able to talk to your angel directly, even if you don't know their name.
Right.
There's a funny story that I have about that I can do if we ever do another show. But even if you don't know their name, to say, my guardian angel, I know you're there with me. Please help me with this. Any message you might have, any way that you can talk to me and let me know, is there a better way? Is there an easier way? Can you give me strength? Anything like that. They will do all they can because they literally have unconditional love for you.
Oh my God.
They will do whatever it is. And they're your angel. That's why I always say that guardian angels are so strong. Guardian angel readings are so powerful, is because you may talk to Michael. You may have heard of Raphael, Raziel, Gabriel, Uriel, whoever it might be. All these great, amazing archangels, some of the ones on the board behind you.
Yeah.
You may know them and heard of them. And maybe even some people get messages from them. And you can ask them for help whenever you need to because they're pretty strong. But if you can talk to your guardian angel, for the most part, again, they are literally your angel. That is it. There are times I've done readings where there are people that share an angel, which was pretty amazing.
You mentioned that to
me.
And
there's somebody that has two main guardian angels, so that's pretty crazy. So they have it's interesting because they have kind of a dual personality also, the person themselves. But that's your angel, whether you share it with somebody or not, whether you have more than one, they are there for you. And that's what makes that connection so strong, is because they're literally a part of you and want to be there to help you with everything. So talk to them. Mm-hmm. That's one of the big things that I'll say from me, is that even if you aren't able to get a guardian angel reading from me to learn their name or anything like that, or maybe one day you will, in the meantime, at least just know that they're there. Everybody has one. I have not met anybody yet who's wanted a reading. And I said, oh, don't see anybody. Sorry. No, they're there.
Yeah. You guys, everybody has an angel, guardian angel, and guides. You have this whole team, as Michael keeps talking about, and this is what they tell me as well. I got to say this too, Michael. People write to me and say, I don't know the name of my angel or my guide. And you know what? This is what they've told me. Okay, my angel didn't introduce herself to me until she came on my board, and that was in 1994. Although I knew of this presence, you guys, I just spoke to her directly as my guardian angel, just like Michael said. The name didn't matter, and some reason in me, I knew it didn't matter. And finally, she told me her name was just Mary. It was like, okay, that's a simple name. I can do that one. And I think she told me Mary, you guys, just because it was simple, and I remember it.
It was easy enough, yeah.
It was easy enough. And so don't get caught up in trying to get a name unless you do work with Michael or somebody like that who can give you a name. Don't get caught up in it, because you may hear it eventually. It may take you, like for me, 27 years till I think I got the name. That's okay. They're still there. So are your guides. And that's fine. Just be open to the possibilities of how they're going to show up. And they're not going to show up always the way you expect them to or you want them to, or like TV shows or Hollywood. They're going to show up in the best way they can reach you. And in Michael's case, it was all these things he went through, and then finally the bright light, and then even the cussing, because they could reach him. They knew they could reach him on that level somehow. So be open to that, you guys. Trust that this is really good information to hear. And what I'm hearing Michael say too about the year 2020 is that that's really going to be a time for us to, what the angels are saying is for the veil to lift, if you will, if you want to call it that, the metaphorical and literal veil of our own blockages, and that now's the time to reach out and get to know these incredible loving beings. This is it.
And one of the, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, go ahead.
One of the big things that I was getting is just, you have to remove, they want you to, want people to try to remove fear from the equation. A lot of people are afraid of the paranormal, are afraid of angels, demons, spirits, of human, elementals. Right. They don't understand it, and so they fear it. If you can remove fear from the equation, just like we try to do with the group that we have when we help spirits a little bit with our paranormal investigation group. We call it RISE because it's Rise and Inspire Soul Empowerment. My wife came up with the name. And it's about being empowered in who you are, but also empowering the souls that are around you. So to be able to be strong enough, remove that fear. And then if you remove fear and replace it with curiosity, or replace it with comfort and with acceptance, then the veil that's thinning, now we say, won't be so foreign. It will be something that you understand. And then reaching out for your angel's help may not sound so odd anymore. You know, it may sound like something that, you know what, you're right. There's always been something around me. Sometimes I felt it even. Yeah. You know, and if you just accept that and remove the fear of what it could be, just know that nothing negative that you might feel can ever harm you. And if you just remove the fear of something being negative, then you become way stronger and you're able to connect to them a lot more. So if you want to connect with them, be open to it. Don't let that fear control you.
Very, very well said. Well, we've come to a place in the show where we're getting to the end. I just want to ask you if you have any final thoughts that you'd like to share that would help inspire and spark people to reach out and meet their angels as well.
Well, let's see. Things to say. Well, it's changed my life drastically. In great ways. I'm not even done yet. I know that there's so much more that's going to be happening for me and my wife, for people that I know, or for people in my group. There's so much that we have to grow from and learn from. And the one thing that I always say is that it's because I was able to finally accept it. That's why I was so passionate about empathy, and I started doing an actual empath class, is because there are so many people out there that might have certain paranormal gifts, might have certain spiritual gifts, and that might be feeling these things. And so many of them were debilitated by it. Yeah. So many of them. There was one woman that I said that I met that has only left the house maybe once a week because her empathy is so strong that she feels so anxious and scared and angry or sad whenever she leaves the house. And the angels were able to give me tools for me to be able to control mine and to be able to turn it into advantage. That's why I called the class Empath Equals Strength, because it is a strength. It's a gift. At first, it may be debilitating. A lot of gifts might seem that way. Yeah. But if you learn to accept it and to incorporate it into your life, as opposed to pushing it away, then you become way stronger than you've ever been. You become smarter, you become more accepting. And in a lot of ways, it helped me to better understand all the things that I felt throughout my life. I look back and I see things, wow, that happened because of my gift. And I didn't even know I was doing it. I was able to get to this point in my life because of these things that have changed. And as long as you don't fight it and just go along with it and accept it, it can do worlds of change for you and really improve your life. So
well, and
I know it because I've seen it.
When I hear you speak about it, Michael, it really sounds like you can look back on your life now with more compassion.
Yeah,
and
I
understanding.
I do. There was a lot of things that happened in my life that I didn't understand why they happened. I didn't have the most terrible life in the world or anything. You know, there are plenty of people out there that had an awful life, worse than I did. But when I look back on it, I realized that that's why this happened. And that's why I didn't go down this path. You know, very quickly, I've had a lot of jobs in my life. When I started working when I was 15 to buy myself a car, and I've had 20 jobs before I was 20, and then I decided I was going to be an EMT. Or first I was going to be a chef because my Italian background, my family's always made Italian food, so I was going to be a chef. Then I decided, no, I'm not going to go down that route. I'm going to be an EMT. Then I'm going to be a firefighter. Then I was majored in undergrad in kinesiology, so I was going to be a physical therapist. So, and then I was going to be an NMD, I thought. And so I started applying for that. And then somewhere along the line in there, I was going to be an eye doctor. All these things were changing. And why didn't I stick with all these different paths? Is because those paths were supplemental for me to get to where I am now. Yeah. And if you're going through a tough time right now, anyone out there that's going through a hard time, a transitional time, just know that as long as you stick with your goals and stick with the main reason why you do things. I wanted to help people. No matter what, most of my goals with my jobs that I had were about helping. And if you stick with a passion that you have, I want to create, I want to help, I want to support, whatever it might be. Maybe I want to sell. Maybe you like being a salesperson. Whatever it might be, as long as you stick with that main idea, you will get to where you need to be. It just takes time. Sometimes when you don't listen to the angels' words or messages. And that's why we talked a little bit about how you can hear them better. So,
exactly. I think it's really important what you just said, and I want to reiterate that, is if you're going through a hard time, if you stay focused on what it is you truly want to do in the world, if you don't know, think about what you really enjoy when you do feel joy, and what that is that you'd like to do, and then stick with it, because your path is going to change for you, and it will, and your angels will help you, and you can move forward and move through those rough times and rough seas. There always is a way through it. We just forget there's a new day tomorrow, and that's really 100%. Important to hear, especially this time of the year. We just went through the holidays. A lot of people feel alone. We're starting a new year. There's a lot of uncertainty in the world, but so I'm so glad you touched on that, and I have no doubt your angels wanted you to share that message with us today. No doubt.
Yes, definitely.
Well, listen, I want to say thank you for being on the show. Before we go, where can people find you, Michael, if they want to learn further information about you, your readings, and everything you do?
Oh, great. Yeah. I have my own website. It is www.angelwhisperermichael.com. So it's kind of long, but most people, if they can search it or Google it, you'll see it. But yeah, again, angelwhisperermichael.com has everything on there about the services that I offer, a little bit more about my backstory and the bio, and also different things that I have experienced and learned from as an angel medium. I'm going to be putting more videos up there as well. So I've been a huge procrastinator on that. So I don't have a lot of videos up there right now, but everything that's about me is on that website, including Angel Reiki. If people want to learn more about that or Reiki in general, I have a separate page for that. Also, Facebook is Angel Medium Michael on Facebook. Same thing on Instagram. So if people wanted to catch up with any of the things that we've been doing, we've done some traveling. I talk about group readings that I do sometimes, or just throw out words of inspirement from the angels sometimes. Definitely, it's on my social media as well. And also, we, if you don't mind, we also have a second website, which is www.RISEparanormal.com. That talks about the group that we have, where we go and we help people with different kinds of hauntings, and help the souls as well. We go into it saying we're going to help the soul, and by definition, then help the homeowner, not going in thinking we're going to help the homeowner, because people forget that 99.2% of the souls that you encounter are people. They're human. And so they need help as well. So we go in wanting to help them to be able to help people with their hauntings. So everyone gets helped. That's great. So we have that website, same thing, Instagram, Rise Paranormal, Facebook, Rise Paranormal. And we have a podcast also on our website for Rise Paranormal. That's also on Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, Apple Podcasts. I can't remember what that's called, but people have iTunes. It's on there for iTunes. So we have a podcast where we've have a few episodes on there now that we're doing things. So people want to hear more from not just me, but my team as well. Then you can definitely tune into those.
So you guys, all links will be below to everything you just mentioned. And I want to thank you again, Michael. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing the information about the angels, what they come here to do, and how they work with us, and your work with them, and also the journey you went through, because I think we learned a lot from that. So thank you again. Thank you so much.
No, thank you so much for having me. It's been a true honor. You're awesome. Thank you so much. It's been amazing, and I really appreciate being able to come on and talk about this stuff.
Thank you again. We appreciate you. So there you have it, you guys. Here's a gentleman who's really trying to explore what's going on in his life. He's willing to dive into it and learn from it. So when things are going, hard for you, or maybe anxiety is being caused in your life, look at it. Let's see what that is. It could be an angel knocking to come in, or it could be something else that wants you to pay attention. So think about your life that way. Think about 2020, as Michael said, as a time for exploring, understanding, and opening up to who you really are. And if this does involve the angels or the unseen dimensions, by all means explore it. And I love what he said. He said, exchange the word of fear for curiosity. So make 2020 a year of curiosity for you. Now get out there and go explore the unseen dimensions. And until next time, this was Karen Dahlman with Creative Visions TV, and I'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.